Hello, Knockouts. Tonya TKO here, and I am a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourself and each other. On this channel, we talk about self-loving or self-abusing through relationship, as well as viral video stories that are teachable moments for dating and relations in our own lives. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Bow Wow and Kiyomi Leslie and the physical altercation that they got into and the laughter that people are having on the internet at Bow Wow's expense. And I wasn't going to touch this story for a few different reasons. One of the reasons is I don't really know how to dive into the story without revealing some of the privileged information that I have behind the scenes about what's going on with Kiyomi medically. That if you ever found out what is going on with her medically, that if Bow Wow had put his hands on her in this instance, you most likely would have never forgiven him. So I just want you to use your imagination about what type of scenarios a person could be going through medically that would make you feel revolted if you found out that someone harmed them when they were in that state, hit them, even pushed them in this state. So nonetheless, I wanted to show you all a few videos. Some of the videos I couldn't get them downloaded, and I have to be honest, when I was going through the video footage, it just made me exhausted. It was a lot. This is a very toxic relationship which has been toxic for some time, and I felt exhausted just looking at this footage. Speaking of exhausted, I did take a few days break after the Jasmine Island coverage, and I created an MP3 for you all that you can get for free. You all know that I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I created this relaxation MP3 that you all can get for free. Some of the topics we're talking about are very heavy, and so if you need to release and relax and get some relaxation into your own life and just kind of calm and tranquilizing yourself, just go to my website. In the shop, there's the free MP3 right there. You get it in exchange for joining the mailing list, and the instructions are right in there. So go ahead and make sure that you get that. And there are also other things inside of my shop that you can get to support me and my show. So make sure that you do that, as well as a new link for t-shirts. You all have been asking me about my t-shirts, so I'll put the links below in a pinned comment as well as in a description. So this situation, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's just go ahead and just play the first clip, and then we'll get into talking about what's so funny. What's so funny here? All right, let's go.
It's killing me. You know, the fact that I can't handle business without her thinking something. I can't shoot a video with a girl without her thinking something. Next time you come in at 5 a.m., it's a problem. Me and Leslie have tried to work this thing out so many times. It's like, where do we go from here? What are we doing? I wasn't acting like this before I met her. The situation is just too toxic, the arguing, and me always having to fight for her trust when I've never given her a reason to not trust. It's become a problem being with her. To keep it all the way simple, our relationship is too toxic, and I can't deal with it. It ain't working.
Right.
I'm done.
So it's over.
It's over. But everything that I have going on now with the tour coming up and all of these shows, I need to stay the away from drama. I get too wrapped up in it, and I gotta just clear my head.
I think that this relationship being over, that's a great choice. So, Bao, you're really serious about this?
I'm done.
You're done. You need to unfollow her on social media.
I'm following her off of social media. I was thinking about it for a couple of days. I do know my mom wants the best for me. And right then and there, that's when I knew, okay, now it's time to unfollow her.
Keep it moving.
All right. I'm unfollowing her right now.
Keep it moving.
Boom. Unfollow. Yeah, it would be highlighted in blue.
Okay, you unfollow her. Okay.
It's over. Like, once you do that, it's a wrap.
Yep, done.
All right. So there is just a little snippet. There's just a little snippet. And so you see, so it's like, ugh. All right. So one of the things that I want you to notice from this clip is his lack of eye contact with the when he was doing the one-on-one interview, the lack of eye contact that he had, he's looking down and to the left, which is typically the symbol of when a person is using their cognitive ability to recollect and to remember created events. So he's not providing any eye contact. How many of you really believed him when he said that it was over, that it was toxic? Then he's like, I wasn't acting this way before I was with her. Listen, you know what? We're going to talk about choice in a moment. Then did you see his mother's face? She had like this really smug look, like, oh, yes, yes. And I just, it's just a lot going on. I talked with my niece about this situation before I made this video, and my niece watches this show, so she was telling me about a lot of the toxic stuff and events that have transpired on the show between them. And there was some footage that I wanted to get for you all of him wilding out at a party where Kiyomi left early. I could just use your imagination of a situation with some people who are young, and they're not even that young. Kiyomi's 27, and Shad Moss, and his mother calls him Bao, which I think is funny. Your mother's calling you your stage name. But he's 31. So these are not young, ignorant people. These are adults that have traversed through life and have gotten to where it is that they are now. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here. Let's talk about that. People are laughing. People are laughing. Oh, he got beat up. He got this. He got that. And I'm like, what's funny about a person being physically assaulted by another person? What's funny about that? Let me just tell you all this so that we can be on the same page. Men are stronger than women. And according to the data, even a man who is the same size as a woman is 33% stronger than her. On average, men are 33% strong, 33% larger than women. And even at the same size, they're still 33% stronger. So if you see that his face is all bashed up and scratched up, etc., and you see that her face looks perfect, then there's a reason why he didn't hit her. There's a reason why. And then also, what is it that we want? What I just, you know what? Let's go on a short little hypnotherapeutic, a hypnotic journey, because this is not therapeutic. Just go on a hypnotic journey real quick. I want you to just breathe in deep and just imagine this scenario. Imagine a man, a woman arguing. Things are getting loud. They both may have been drinking. Temperatures are flared. They heated up, or tempers are heated up, right? And the girl starts hitting the guy, right? They get into an argument. The girl starts hitting him, right? He pushes her. He tries to hold her hands. He can't grab a hold of her hands. She throws a lamp at him. He can't go gain control of the situation, right? And she continues to clobber him and scratch up his face. Now imagine an alternate ending to that. He punches her in the face and she goes sprawled out across the floor. Then she has a black eye. She may be hurt in some sort of way. She may have a concussion, whatever the case may be. How does that make you feel? It's like, what is it that we want? Do we want men to not hit women? Do we want men to hit women? Does it make us feel good when a woman's face is bashed in? Does it make us feel good that his face is all scratched up and tattered? Like, one of the first people who broke this story to me was laughing. And I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Because he is still a man. Make no mistake about it, he is a man, and testosterone is a very powerful hormone, which gives men, the muscle fiber of men is different. This is why men and women don't compete in the same sports. When we saw Rihanna's face all beat and bashed up, how did that make us feel? So it's like I'm so confused as to what's funny about this man being assaulted. And it's like there are two different sides of this that I want to address, and then we're going to get out of this video. One, ladies, listen, we have got to keep our hands to ourselves. We've got to keep our hands to ourselves. And then two, men, you've got to love yourself enough to choose better. You've got to love yourself enough to be able to be with a person who is going to respect your body and your physical boundaries. You have to be with a person. It's like, I don't know how many of you remember this, and I'm not going to mention any names because a few years ago, I did a live show with a woman that I had met on a broadcast. And on the broadcast, she was a firecracker, and she was loud, and she was entertaining, right? And then I decided to work with her and produce this show. I never showed the footage of this show because I decided after working with her one time that I would not work with her again. Because that stuff that makes for good TV doesn't make for good friendships. It doesn't make for good business relationships. It doesn't make for professional interactions. All that, that's good for TV, but not in your personal life. I want some of you to imagine if this was your brother and his face ended up looking like that because some girl clobbered him, and he was gentlemanly enough to disregard his own personal safety to look out for her safety and allow himself to be harmed. I do not condone a person who is stronger unleashing their full might onto another person. I do, however, condone for a person to love themselves enough to be able to keep themselves safe and exert enough energy to stop the immediate threat and to be able to get themselves to safety. I don't condone for any man to sit there and be beat to a pulp by a woman because he has enough respect for himself and for her not to throw hands on her. So you know what? I'm going to show you another clip and then we're going to get out of here. Right, here we go. Let's take a look at this.
So do you still have this tracker on Willie's phone, girl? Because you need to show me how to put it on Bow's phone.
Look, if you in his messages one day, just do the little info and do find my friends and add them to it.
Oh, you can turn his location on his phone.
Yeah, it's the location setting.
In addition to that, bitch, if you figure out his iTunes password, you can log in on your iPad and get all his text messages come to your iPad.
Oh, Lord. This what you do to Amy?
All right. What are your thoughts about that? And it's like there are other women who are not only down for this, but they're giving her information. And I'm just thinking, what is going on? This is not healthy and it's not functional. By the time that first of all, we do not own our partners. We take up a certain amount of time, a certain amount of space in the present with them. We're renting time in these lifetimes, but our partners are their own separate individual human beings, and our relationships are there as teachable opportunities for ourselves and for them. We agree to be with each other for a span in time, but we do not own one another. Putting trackers on other people's phones, taking their passwords, downloading their stuff, and how is this okay? This is not a healthy, functioning relationship. If you've gotten to the point in your relationship where you don't trust the person that you're with enough to be able to have an adult relationship with them in the present, in the now, where they bring what it is that they bring into the relationship and you bring what it is that you bring into the relationship, and you both meet in the middle and you're both there for your own ascension, then what are you doing? Why are you with a person that you feel that you have to put these trackers on? And then on the flip side, men, we've got to do better. You've got to do better. Where you're choosing partners who don't trust you, who are abusive towards you, who are toxic in the relationship, and you condone it because they're pretty or their booty's fat or whatever. Love yourself enough to know that you deserve to be with a person who's going to treat you the way that you deserve to be treated, who's going to honor you, respect your privacy. Because there is, listen, people need a certain amount of boundary. They need a certain amount of privacy in a relationship where they have boundaries that are not crossed. And it's like too many of us are not having real, earnest, in-depth conversations where we are, one, checking people on their behavior and letting them know that this type of behavior is unacceptable. And two, forming a boundary that once that boundary is crossed, that there are decisions that you make about the repercussions of that boundary being crossed, and whether or not you are going to stay in that relationship once that boundary is crossed or continues to be crossed. It's like we have to love ourselves enough to be able to know how it is that we deserve to be treated, get treated that way, or not tolerate it if we're not. I feel like my phone is not still bluzzy, right? Or not tolerate it if we're not. So on that note, I think we've talked about everything that we needed to talk about. I want to hear your thoughts below. I don't think that this situation is funny. I don't think violence inside of a relationship is funny. I don't think it's okay for partners to put their hands on each other. Men are stronger than women. I do not condone a man beating a woman to a pulp. On the flip side, men, you have to protect yourself. Get out of there. Get out. Go to the police and just get out of this situation that's an immediate threat. I saw one video. I don't know how many of you saw it. It went viral on Facebook, but it was gory. This woman took a pair of scissors and tried to stab a man's eye out. And she approached him. I think he was trying to leave her or something. And she was like, oh, you're not going to leave me or whatever. She approached him inside the car. She opened the car door and she proceeded to attempt to stab him. And he's like trying to block her, and he's getting stabbed with the scissors. And it was gory. She was gouging him. It was awful. And I was like, this is not okay. This is not okay. And it's like I said, you have to love yourself enough to use the amount of force that it takes to stop a person from harming you, and then get out of there. Go about your business. I applaud Shad Moss for not beating this girl to a pulp. I applaud him for not doing that. But then let's talk about the flip side of that. Moss, what are you going to do on the other end of this to keep yourself safe? This is not okay. There are women out there who are willing to love you, who are willing to treat you well, to honor you, to cherish you, who will trust you, etc. But on the other side, there are reasons that he is with this young lady. At one point inside of the little clip that we showed, the first clip, he was like, I wasn't acting this way before. Obviously, there's something about this relationship that he likes. Something about this woman that he likes. We often hear about men who are talking about, oh, these women won't give a good guy a chance. Far too often men are making the decisions of who they feel is a good mate based on what this woman looks like on the outside. There are women who may not be able to get the $500 Brazilian weave, but Shad Moss got money, so he may be able to help his girl get her hair done the way that she'd like to get it done. Hopefully it's not a weave, but nonetheless, there are girls out there who may not have the 36, 24, 36, or whatever the case may be. The perfect skin with the bumped up highlight on the cheek, or whatever the case may be. There are women who would be a better match in terms of honoring and respecting and treating a person right. However, the people that we're attracted to and that we're drawn to says a lot more about us, what's going on inside of us. And we have to take ownership of that. Just like the people who think that this is funny, you have to look inside of yourself. Like when I talked about the scenario of him punching her and beating her down. If there's something inside of you where that feels all right, you're going to have to look inside of you You know what I mean? If there's something inside of you that feels like it's okay for a woman to assault a man and et cetera, you have to look inside of yourself for that. You know, so on that note, I'm going to get out of here because this is a lot. Remember, go ahead and download my relaxation MP3 where I use some really special techniques and frequencies inside of the sound to be able to help you really release tensions and let them evaporate off of you. So go ahead, come over to my website, tonyatko.com/shop and get that. And then you can also order t-shirts and other ways to support me in some of the links below. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, love yourself. And in loving yourself, you enter into relationships that are healthy, that support you emotionally and psychologically. And you remove yourself from toxic situations because you know that you deserve better than that. All right. Peace.